superstar. He is an absolute superstar, Tom Mitchell. Cripps at the back. Cripps is too good. Neil, yes! Oh, how good was that?
All right, this has been in the works for a long time. Leggy, the leg man, has been requesting to be on the Ball Magnets pod. Normally it's the other way around. Normally the interviewer approaches a guest asking to be on, but I reckon every morning when we're getting taped up for treatment in the morning, for the last year, you've asked me, when am I coming on?
Yeah, well, I mean, it started off with a bit of banter, but then it kind of got a bit serious, and now I'm here and I don't really have anything to talk about. So,
well, that's great.
All the best.
It got serious to the point of something. You got a little scratch on your face here.
Yeah.
Do you mind going into what happened there? And you might have come off second best in a recent training session.
No, you should have seen the other 14 blokes I had to deal with. No, we had a pre-season training. I just got back from Europe, second training in, and we all gathered around James' boss James.
We were in Elwood?
Elwood, yeah.
Well, down Stanbury,
maybe Brighton. Anyway.
Because Pendles and Howie won't leave their bubble, so we have to all travel to them to train in the off-season.
Yes. So anyway, we're halfway through all of our running, all of our drills, and someone's brought an NFL ball, and I saw Sidey throw the most perfect spiral. And I guess the best part about this story is there's going to be two parts to it. There's obviously my views and how I saw the series of events, and you. But
you go first.
I'll go first because I feel like mine is the correct version.
You need a vent as well, I can tell.
Yeah. And I reckon I need to get this off my chest because it's actually been fizzing and eating away at me. But anyway, so I thought, Sidey's throwing this incredible spiral. I was like, you know what, I'm going to utilise that beautiful arm he's got. So I said, Sidey, you come here. And I said it so loudly, all the boys were interested. So there was 14 blokes. We had an audience, and I picked on the weakest link, which was...
well, you thought it was the weakest link.
I still believe
it probably
he's the
was.
weakest link.
It was the right pick for an NFL throw to have someone defend you, probably the quickest guy in the team. You picked the right matchup.
Yeah, I picked a little diesel tractor, and I thought, I'm about to annihilate him and make all the boys laugh. And anyway, so I said, Titchy, you're on defense. I'm the wide receiver. I even went to Sidey. We made a plan, and I was like, mate, I'm going to pretend to go left, and I'm going to slant right. And he goes, so when do I throw it? I go, the moment my left foot hits the ground, and I cut, bang it, and I'll catch it. So in the NFL, for those who are not aware, everyone behind that camera, there's a flag system where if there's a penalty, and normally if you're the wide receiver, you're not meant to get hit until the ball touches your hands. So Sidey's about 3 drops into his step back, ball's still firmly in his grips, and Titchy has absolutely lined me up. Now, I hadn't even done my move yet, so I hadn't even thought, I'm going to go right and left. I just went, and as I've landed, I've turned, and Titchy's chin flushes me in the face. And at first, I thought, I've been clobbered, and I thought my nose had gone.
You thought you broke your nose?
I thought, because I felt like I had a hole in my face, and I remember laying on the ground. I'm like, please don't bleed, and I sort of touched my nose, like, it's not bleeding, that's fine. It's like, man, it actually hurt. I looked up and all the boys, the worst sound you could hear is, oh. And I was like, what have I done? What's my face look like? And they're like, yeah, you're cut. And I was like, oh, God. We still got another running to do. We still got a few ball drills to do. So, yeah, being the camper I was, ran to my car. I've got a first aid kit in there, bit of antiseptic, alcohol wipes, and then try to call the doc, and the doc was just like, what have you done?
To your credit, you finished off the session. So I didn't know the rules in NFL. I didn't know that you can't body check. So I'm thinking, all right, we've got an audience. I'm in a very vulnerable position. Leggy's... Actually, here's a fun fact when I was doing a bit of research for today. Do you know you were the fastest player in the AFL in 2019? You recorded the fastest time, 37.4 Ks.
I was, and I held that for about 3 years.
Yeah.
Or 4 years until this year, and then Gary Rowan beat me against us.
Really?
But I didn't play that game. So I was really flat with all the defenders for letting him hit that speed.
Well, you should have got someone to take a leaf out of my book. That's where the body check comes in. So, all right, I've seen Leggy and Steele tee up this play, and I'm thinking, all right, audience, I can't let Leggy get a run because he's just going to fly by me, and I'm going to probably roll my ankle and look silly. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to use the body check method. And I didn't know which way you were going to cut, so I just sort of I guessed. I'll be honest with you. I guess. I guess
guess
this
right.
way. I guess right. Yeah. And I didn't even really try and hit you that hard. You kind of ran into me, and my chin has gone straight. Give the camera a look at that cut.
There.
Yeah. My chin's gone straight into Leggy's head, and I've got a massive lump on my chin. This is off-season training, so you're not meant to even do anything physical. Next minute, Leggy's on the ground, pouring blood out of his face. Calls we had to call the club doctor, and thought you were going to have to get stitches.
Yeah, well, I think I might have had to, but I would have had to go to the hospital. And I was like, is there any other ways to go around not having stitches? And he goes, we can glue it. So I had this annoying glue, which was great because it's healed really well. However, at the same time, it got real prickly, itchy. It was a nuisance.
But what happened the other day at training? Because we're 1-1 now. Because Leggy keeps tabs, which I didn't know. I thought we were... How many times did I apologise that day? At least 10. I felt so bad. And then we got to training Monday, and Leggy's been saying for a while, Titchy, I'm coming for you. Just know I'm coming. I'm like, all right. I thought he was forgotten about it. First contact drill, elbow to the nose. Titchy's down.
Yeah. I actually don't think it was an elbow. I think it might have been my hip.
Was it your hip?
Yeah. Because to be honest, I felt like I just ran past you.
Yeah. You know when you get hit in the nose and you get watery eyes? It looked like I felt like I was about to cry, but I just had I got flushed in the nose from your hip or your elbow.
I deep down, I felt really bad, but at the same time, I was a little bit wrapped.
Proud,
I was pretty proud. But the worst part about it now that we're even, I actually feel like I had a one-up on you because I owed you one. So I felt like I was getting a bit of paranoia.
If we're on separate teams, so for everyone listening, in the off-season, we had 2 training groups. We had a group at Caulfield and we had a group at
the St Kilda.
the Bayside crew.
Yeah.
And I feel like at training, the Caulfield crew has discussed. So we had me, Steele, Darcy Cameron, Q. That was sort of our crew. We're going to go up against you guys in the first team drills, just so you know.
Yeah,
that's
great.
what's coming. Pendles press, all those drills. That's what's coming.
Just don't forget, you guys were with us.
We were, but we broke away.
We
broke away, and that's fine. But I want to give you a message that you gave to me that make sure you're wearing 2 mouth guards, both shoulders taped, maybe a helmet because we're coming.
Bring it.
Yeah.
Bring it. I'm going to sharpen my elbows.
Oh, that's so good. Anyway, we better talk about something a little bit more serious because otherwise me and you just talk gibberish the whole time. I want to talk about the granny. I've listened to the recent podcast you did with Keegan, and I thought that was absolutely amazing. And obviously being able to share a lot of those moments with you, and to the point where I actually messaged you, I think in the off season when you're in the middle of, you must have been in Sweden at one point. I think when I messaged you, or maybe France, you messaged me a photo with you and Becky. And throughout the break, I've been watching different clips and things. And I think I said to you, one of the clips that made me so emotional was seeing how much it meant to you and your emotions, because seeing you after the game, you were bawling, but it was so, as a mate and a teammate, it was so cool to see how much it meant to you.
Yeah. I mean that feeling after it, I just remembered bawling my eyes out for 5 minutes, but I wasn't sobbing or I wasn't upset. I was
happy.
Just I was happy, but I've never felt, it was just something had to just come out.
Yeah.
And that was what was coming out at the time. And I feel like I do bottle up a lot of my emotions. I've got this jovial sort of almost personality where very rarely will you sort of see me have a bad day or a quiet day. I tend to always try and make other people laugh and smile. So I feel like people associate that feeling or that image of me, I guess, always 24/7. So when I do get quite emotional, it does rattle a few people.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm not sure if I started just reflecting or whatever it was, but something just exploded internally and I just couldn't stop bawling until I probably saw my partner. Then I saw my partner, hugged her, and then I was like, all right, I've got, I think, every tear out. My face better stop leaking because I'm going to be walking around, fist pumping the air, going, how good's this? And I don't want people thinking,
Nah, man.
what's wrong?
Honestly, I loved it. I've spoken
it.
about, we haven't released some of the pods I've done with some of the other boys, and we've spoken on that your reaction was one of my favourites. I loved it. Just to see the raw emotion. Everyone, when that siren went, reacted slightly differently. There was guys who were running around and celebrating. There were guys that were so gassed and just collapsed. I've heard you talk about that footage. How cool is that footage, the slow-mo footage? It's myself and Nick collapsing,
In
Crispy's
sync.
fist pumping. You and Howie are charging at each other.
Yeah.
And then you put the brakes on because Howie's going to clean you up.
He did clean me up.
He
Yeah.
did he take you down with him?
I'd like to think I caught him,
Yeah.
but I think he took me down.
took you
yeah.
out,
And then
yeah.
it was just like the screaming, the yelling, the whole, it was an incredible feeling. Like
Yeah.
I've never felt anything like it, knowing that you didn't have a game the next week. There wasn't like let's taper or hide anything. It was just like, let go, relief, just get it all out.
good.
And that was just, I lost control over everything. Just
That's the best, isn't it?
Yeah.
'Cause I felt the same thing in the moment when that siren went. My body almost turned into jelly, and I just sort of like flopped on the. It was an uncontrollable feeling. It's so hard to describe, but one of the best things you'll ever feel in your life. And I think even what put other people at ease going into such a big game. I think obviously the way Fly speaks to the group, but how jovial you are. And I know there's a big group in the locker room. Titchy's doing his 2 hours of stretching. I just stop talking in third person, but that's what you do.
yeah, that's what
when
a leg man
you
does.
call yourself the leg man. But then you're very jovial, and I love that photo, the team photo when we're on the benches before the game.
Yeah,
when
yeah.
we run out, you're holding hands with Jamie.
Yeah.
Everyone's slightly different, but majority of the players, which Fly loved, were smiling. Pretty much everyone's smiling, except Coxie's got goggles on. And I've got my mouth going.
Yeah, your mouth going.
Man, I'm ready to rock.
I love seeing when you're in your footy mood. Like it honestly, I stay away from you in the pre-game stuff because what you do stresses me out sometimes. You just
We couldn't be more opposite, could
you're
we?
so diligent. Like, but don't get me wrong, you love laughing as well. But
Oh, yeah.
there are just like the moment we're within 45 minutes before the game, that's like Titchy's in the zone. Like and I'm always like walking around.
You're still dancing.
I'm still dancing. I'm still pulling people's hair, and I don't know. I'm still trying to crack jokes, inappropriate jokes all the time. But
Great though.
yeah, again, like that. That's just how I relax. And,
Yeah.
and the best part is, I feel like even you being the way you sort of prepare for a game, you don't have any judgment towards the way I prepare, and I think that's the best part.
And same either way. I think
Yeah.
everyone's very respectful of how each other goes about it. I would say most guys in the team are like you though. I would say majority are more on the jovial side than.
Which helps, because if it was
Yeah.
the opposite way around, I feel like potentially the serious heads might go, well, why aren't you taking it as seriously as you should?
I've been in teams. Yeah, early days I felt Sydney was very, very
Yeah.
like what's the word? Kind of like you're in the army, very
Disciplined
serious.
hard, yeah.
And that worked for that team. Like that team was super successful. There's no model that works better, that may work better than the other. But I feel like for our group, it's
Yeah,
the leg man's the leg man's keeping the spirits up right till we run out.
Yeah.
Actually, right until the game starts. Really, even on the ground, it's hilarious.
Yeah, I try to make it a bit lighthearted, and I feel like the moment we start playing and that, you're so in focus, in tune and that. But when you have like a minute break, whether it's a goal or something, it's always good just to ease everything, because
Little mental break.
yeah, like if you're having a tough day, especially like I might go 20 minutes and feel like, I haven't touched the ball. I'm just running on the open side. When are we going to get the ball to me? Like, and you say these stories, the moment you come together after a goal, boundary throw in, you celebrate a spoil, like you interact and you stop the stories and you start, I don't know, like the moment you make a joke and then you go off to your opponent, you almost go, like it's a clean slate. You go, yeah, that was a good joke. Yeah, I'm back. Like,
Yeah, 100%.
You just need a reset. And I find, whether it's laughing, I feel like laughing is universal. Any country you go to, you can laugh with anyone. And I feel like the only other universal language besides laughing is farting. So the moment,
It's funny in every language.
it's well, you know a fart if it's in a different country or not. They're all the same. So I feel like the only universal languages is laughter and farts.
Okay, I've never heard that saying, but
Well, I've just made it then.
yeah, that's
so,
good. You've heard it here first.
So yeah, the moment someone who's older than me, or sorry, you don't have to be older than me, but if someone doesn't like a fart, I'm no longer your friend. It's as simple as that.
Well, hopefully we got a bit of a crowd here in the audience. Hopefully we hear a few dropped over there from Bailey. Sure he can help us out.
Yeah.
So two things that I would say, we call it AFL 1. So rated the best at, I think, at our club. Is celebrating on field. So I love when you see us kick a goal and you're deep in the back 50 still, arms in the air.
Yeah.
As if you've kicked it. It's the
That's
best.
my favourite.
It's our goal, though. That's what
Two-finger.
they say, but
Yeah.
it's always a double finger, leggy.
Yeah.
And the other one is, I reckon your contribution in the player WhatsApp group on the player app, the Teamworks group.
Yeah.
I reckon your content and humour is AFL is the best in the team.
Oh,
So I want to let you know
that's an honour. Yeah.
Like, where's IP today?
Yeah. Oh gosh.
It's here.
It's here. The whole IP, like the jovial stuff in the group chat, I find it's quite bland sometimes. So
No, it's the best.
I love throwing in something just completely irrelevant, and I've noticed that's creeped into training as well. I'll say the most irrelevant things in the middle of training. Were like, for instance, what cafe we're going to go have lunch at halfway through our running sessions.
Yeah.
Where we're doing all sorts of handball things where you're probably meant to be serious, but we do something so good, we celebrate. And then all of a sudden we've got a 10-second window where no one talks to each other. Everyone's just jogging to the cone or doing. So it's like, can I make someone laugh? Can I say something outrageous? Can I get people thinking? Like,
Often it's the same joke every time. It's like, so before every game, we've got a crew of about 6 of us who go to the same cafe every week.
Yep.
And then your gag every week is, boys, let's change it. And it's so simple. Let's change it up and go to this cafe this week. And we're never obviously going to change it up. And it's not even funny to the point that it is funny.
It's such an internal joke that Darcy Cameron loves those jokes.
Yeah.
He loves them initially, but the moment a joke gets used 2 or 3 times, he is off ya.
Yeah.
So and there's so many times I've had a little like a minute chat with Darcy where he goes, Leggy, like that's enough. We don't need to hear it again.
Yeah.
And I know that's the point where I've cracked him.
Yeah, but that's when
that's where I ramp it up.
That's when you
and
ramp it
keep
up even more.
Yeah.
You're in their heads then. That's what you got to do. So I want to read something. This is probably my favourite one of the year for you.
Okay.
I want to read it out. I've screenshotted it before.
Oh, gosh.
So for everyone listening, when a new player gets traded or drafted to the club's very good at notifying you of the player's contact details and just so that everyone can text them and make them feel welcome. And so do you know where this is going?
Yeah.
I'm not going to read the whole message, but so Harry DiMattia, our is that how you pronounce his last name?
Yeah.
Anyway, has Bolt, the Honey Badger. He's already got a nickname, the Honey Badger.
Yep.
So the Badger. So obviously he doesn't have everyone's number saved. So Leggy's done a message from his phone saying it's Bruzzy Maynard. Anyway, I'll read a part of it to you.
All right.
Hazard.
Pose yourself, brother. It's unprofessional.
Hazard. It's Bruzzy the Big Bad Maynard. Get ready to get to work because you look like someone who wants to run through a brick wall with me. Stick with me and I'll teach you how to do it. We bleed black and white. See you on the 4th of December when all the big boys like myself are back. And so Harry, when he first met Bruz, he must have been thinking this guy is either psycho or that's one of the most bizarre messages I've ever got. Have you cleared that up with him yet or not?
I actually haven't. So I feel like if I was to message him again and say, hey, it's Leggy or whatever, or now, like if he's in the WhatsApp, is he in the WhatsApp?
Yeah, he would be.
Yeah. It would pop up with Leggy Markov as my WhatsApp name, and he'll be like, that's not Bruz. Like,
yeah, he'd be working out who's Bruz, who's Leggy.
Yeah, but it was something that actually someone had done early days.
It's been used at other clubs.
Yeah,
it's very funny.
And the one person who got me, and this is the reason I do it now, but Marich got me a beauty. So I was out camping and I didn't do my whereabouts, and this is early days at Richmond. So I just got my Land Cruiser, went out camping, and
you didn't have his number saved?
And so I didn't know how to do my whereabouts on my phone.
Right.
So I messaged Marich being like, hey, can you get the like the risks of Collingwood, like the person who can help me fill in my whereabouts. Logistics, like helps with just everything. And anyway, so he sent me a number back, but it was Grigger's new number, Sean Grigg. And Sean Grigg then, out of nowhere, just like went along with it. And he goes, hey, mate, this is so-and-so, like get back to the campsite. Drug testers are going to be there.
Yeah.
And I was like, what the hell? Like, have I done something wrong? And he's like, yeah, you haven't filled in your whereabouts, blah, 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 blah. You're in big trouble. Make sure you get back to the campsite. So I've like driven 6 hours to the new campsite.
No.
And I've turned around and I started like speeding back to not get fined. And I'm like, how are the drug testers there? Like stall them. Like I was like going to write something like, oh, I'm out kayaking. Can you like just like tell them I'll be there in about 5 hours or whatever? And as I'm flying down, he just like replies back about half an hour later. Hey mate, it's just Sean Grigg, all good, like you should be fine. And I remember going, I felt like crap then. And I'm like, I could probably do the same to everyone else.
So you've parked out the memory bank for a good 6 years.
So I haven't gotten back at Grigger or Marich.
We should do that. Maybe we do that off my phone after this.
Yeah,
we'll come up with
who
something.
to? Who to?
If you want to get Griggy back,
Yeah.
maybe we'll come up with something and you won't have my number.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reckon I've got to get him back because it's
probably
forever
cost you
lingered,
a
and I'm
couple of
trying to catch up.
A couple of speeding tickets.
Yeah, but I'm sweet with that, I think. But yeah.
I've got a funny story for you. So there was an app on the App Store called Textosaurus. I think it's been removed.
Oh, yeah.
No one get it if it's there. It's a dangerous app.
Yeah.
And so how it works, for example, is I can text Leggy from my phone and it could come up as, say,
Mum.
anyone.
Yeah.
It could come up and say mum, and you can say whatever. Anyway, there was an example. This is early days at the Swans, I remember, and the Textosaurus app was everyone in the locker room was using it. And I think one day one of the players, it might have been Hanbury or Josh Kennedy or one of those boys, got a message back saying, "Hey mate, it's the coach. Can you meet me?" I think it was, "Can you meet me at Bondi Skate Park and bring your skateboard at 2 o'clock on like a day off?" And I think a few of the boys went down to Bondi Beach and they're just sitting there waiting. And here comes one of the boys walking down the park with his skateboard and then calls up. The coach says, "Hey mate, I'm here. Where are you?" And he's just like, "What are you talking about?"
Wow.
It's one of the great stitch ups of all time. Anyway, don't get any ideas because you'll use that.
Yeah, I have heard apps like that before, but I reckon that was even before the iPhone times. That was like
It can't be legal.
8 years ago that app was around, or that you message someone and you can pay to get your name changed on the phone.
It costed a fair. It was like $1 a text.
Yeah,
worth every dollar though.
100% it
So
is.
good, so good.
You can ruin friendships like that. I love
Could
that.
ruin a couple, yeah. And what about, so recently you've done Movember, you've got the handlebars still, which are looking awesome. Well done, first of all. Like some of the things you do as a volunteer, which a lot of people may not know about you. For example, what you did this morning, if you wouldn't mind touching on that. What you've done in previous years with kids with disabilities. This morning you spent your whole day off with sick kids. You just do so many different things to give back. Is that, first of all, why? And I know it's just such a nice thing to do, but you've always had good empathy and you like to do those things?
Yeah, well, I mean, it just puts a lot of things in perspective. Like, for instance, today I went to the Gumbaya theme park, which, to be honest, was really cool. It made me feel like a kid again. I went on the teapot ride. I went on this thing called the TNT. You get strapped in, it flies you through this roller coaster. But yeah, no, it was awesome. It was obviously a day for the kids, putting them, first and foremost, and having them share smiles and stories. And I think one of my key things is to have fun, but to share experiences. And that was something where I could share an experience with someone else and make their time better. And I feel like that's such an important thing because that's all we've really got as humans. Like, you can work really hard towards something, you can save all your money, like you can do so many things, but the one thing that continues, like your legacy, is through experience and storytelling and having stories and engaging with others. So, I mean, the kids there are super brave. Like today you go in and some of the kids are dealing with cancers and
do the parents come along as well?
The parents come along as well to obviously help and support, but like you wouldn't know that they're there at a theme park, they're having fun, they're so present. And I think when kids are so present and brave, they're things that we kind of forget about a lot of the time. Like this morning I complained about traffic on the way here. I was late by 20 minutes. And it's not really a major problem.
Good hit of perspective. It's really good.
And it just sort of regrounds you, realigns you, and just working one-on-one with anyone and having a connection like that, it sort of gives me similar tingles to playing at a Pac G. You can't really emulate that, but I found a passion in what I do away from footy, and I thoroughly enjoy it. So whenever I've got energy and time I just try and get back into that sort of environment, and I seem to thrive in it and I enjoy it. So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And it clearly comes out in the way you carry yourself for sure. Like, because you're constantly having these hits of seeing people that are doing it a lot tougher and people that have really challenging times and able to do that. It clearly goes into how you carry yourself as a person, to the point where it kind of ties into, I listened to that podcast you did. I think how you carried yourself throughout that period is what ultimately got you the opportunity to get back on Collingwood's list. Like, do you mind sharing the story of, how Fly first reached out? And, I think the conversation you said you had with him when you didn't get the spot, it went to Oscar Steen and you were told that, that's it, thanks for training with us. But you were so grateful, you thanked him, you held your character, you didn't spit the dummy one bit. You go train at Carlton for a day and then I don't know, for some reason, maybe a bit of good karma. I'm not sure what you believe in, but I think it has to play some part in things working out for you in terms of your footy career being reignited.
Yeah, I mean, that whole journey is pretty cool, and it was awesome to have sort of explain it through my own eyes. I guess you always see it in the media, and it's portrayed in a certain way, but it's very like statistical. It's like this day, this day, this day. But there was a lot of things that happened behind the scenes, and obviously Fly's call was was unreal. Like just seeing, like I'd spoken to Fly back and forth over the years.
Because you guys won a premiership in Richmond.
At
VFL.
Richmond, yeah.
So you'd work closely with him, and then also Justin Lepage.
Yeah, through
he
Richmond
was the backs
as well.
coach at Richmond, was he?
Backs for a bit, and then he went to the forwards. Thank God for that. So,
Yeah.
so we had Ben Rutten, who was who was an upgrade.
Okay,
But
Easy upgrade.
I love Leper and Fly, and Leper's a big version of myself. He's always cracking jokes and making the environment better. But yeah, I guess having that connection really. I guess when Fly spoke to me through that time and having that previous past relationship and connection, his words had a lot more traction. I understood where he was coming from. I understood the conversation. And he was able to be completely honest. Like it wasn't a promise.
Yeah.
And obviously them going with Oscar, who, I would have done the same thing as a football club. He's 19 years old. He's extremely fit, competitive. He's only going to get better, and his whole career is ahead of him. I guess not being promised something, but also correctly knowing how to navigate a human. And I guess the way Fly spoke to me when I was in the dumps, that phone call, I expected him just to say, look, we'll probably go with someone who's a bit hungrier, younger, someone who probably has a bit more, hunger, determination.
So there was one spot on the list, wasn't there?
Yeah, there
when
was.
you come and train on to Collingwood. Because I remember your very first session. It was in the off season. Very first session you did. I was there. Yourself. I think Q was there. He would have had his rig out for sure.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because there was a photo that did come out, and obviously Q had his rig out.
We wouldn't have had ours out.
And I have my T-shirt on, and you notice any off-season photos when Q has his rig out, our T-shirt always stays on because if I'm next to him, I look like a little pencil. I look like a pencil now as it is, but I remember as well. Like I assumed you've been at Collingwood for a year or two at least because I remember you and Tay would come out and bag of balls over your shoulder, cones in your hands, and you had like the whole session planned out and the way you were talking. And I remember going far out.
Maybe I was running a mini ball magnets clinic.
Yeah, it was ridiculous how impressive it all was. And I just remember going, Titch has just been traded here. How is he walking around peacocking? And I was like, I guess that's what a Brownlow does. But no, it was actually really cool. Like the way you boys ran that yourself, and it was very professional, the leadership and that. And I was like, there was no egos. I love that about it. It was like I was training on, and you boys gave me as much energy and effort, and were so engaging in trying to get to know me as an SSP.
Yeah.
And even then, I wasn't
felt
even
the same way getting traded to the club. Like, what probably gave me that confidence to organise some sessions and organise some drills, and because the boys made you feel so welcome and a part of it. Like, I hadn't played a game with anyone. I'd been at the club for a few weeks, and then that session you talk about it. Yeah, I must have taken the reins on a few things and said, boys, let's give this a crack.
Yeah, you did.
And then, before you know it, Legman's in the middle of it as well, running a few things and doing a few running drills with us.
Yeah, no, I wasn't running anything, but I was contributing as best as I could, and just giving out my motivation as I normally do. But
no one else is doing this.
No one else is doing this. But I mean, it's all fun. Like I'm so grateful of my journey, and obviously that call and the hardship and me going to Carlton to be a little spy for a day, and I got to see inside.
Pick
the
up
four
anything
walls.
from the game plan?
Yeah, no, I wrote it all down in my diaries. I had a look at all the walls and wrote everything down, and then came back to Fly and said, "Here, this is what they're doing." But no, like I mean, I'm super grateful, and again, I'm super grateful for Carlton for showing interest in me. And
you were literally there for one day. You had one.
I had a medical on the Tuesday, and then everyone came back from their Maroochydore camp or whatever on the Thursday, and that was our first session. So
you trained for one day, and then Friday you got picked up by Collingwood again. because Charlie Dean went.
Thursday night, got picked up by Collingwood.
So you're literally at Carlton for 1 day.
1 day, yep.
And you had to return your kit, didn't you? They gave you like a hat or something, and then
No. I never got around to returning it. I think I left the swiper potentially in the locker.
Yeah.
Grabbed my boots, popped them under my arm, and I was just hoping that I didn't have to re-message anyone to ask for the swiper back, that everything would go smoothly with Collingwood, and luckily it did. But I have still got a pair of maybe 3 Puma socks
from Carlton.
And then obviously I wore their kit for Mad Monday, which
I did. Yeah, I remember that. So that was from the kit that they gave you, and you just wrote SSP on the back, didn't you?
Yeah.
And the hat, was that from them?
Yeah, hat as well. Yeah. The only thing that their hats are really good at that Collingwood or Nike should do is they had the hat, but then they also had like the Velcro on the inside to make it a legionnaire.
A flap.
Yeah. So
like what you wear like in grade 6, like around the playground. Yeah.
And you can just take it off if you want, or you can pop it back in.
Very aerodynamic.
I feel like that's if you don't have a mullet and you want to wear a mullet for a day and look after your neck from getting sunburn, like that's the one good thing that they had. And I think that's the only thing they've got over us is a Legionnaire hat.
Let's, who can we talk to? Maybe Plummy, who's in charge of all the property. Maybe we put a request in for a few of those.
100%.
Speaking of aerodynamics, we've been doing some gymnastics training as well.
Yep.
Mate, you were so good yesterday.
Yeah, well...
You've got all right, well, obviously your old man's a world champion pole vaulter.
Yep.
So you've got the genetics.
Yep.
You said that you did gymnastics as a kid.
Yep.
So here's you pumping out. Like I went back with the young boys last week thinking I was pretty happy with some of my work, doing backflips. And then Leggy's coming this week doing all sorts of things.
Yeah, I was all guns blazing. I thought, I'm going to rekindle being the state champ.
You were a champ yesterday.
Yeah, I was a state champion in WA.
How old?
I was maybe 7 or 8. But yeah, I think mum and dad knew I was going to be taller than 6 foot. And the guy who was there was a Bulgarian coach. And he sort of said, look, let's stunt his growth. And mum's like, all right, like, let's not do that. If he's going to be more than 6 foot, let's get him into tennis, let's get him into basketball. So I tried a lot of other sports after that. But gymnastics was one of the things that I did growing up because maybe I think mum and dad didn't want to discipline me. And dad was like, oh, well, you're either going to be in ballet or gymnastics, you choose. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not going to be doing ballet.
Yeah.
But so I chose gymnastics. So I did that for a year. And again, I used to cry. And as a kid, when you do things that are hard, I cried most times going to that. Like I didn't want to do it. And again, I did Auskick at the age of 6. That's a fun fact for you. So I did 1 or 2 days of Auskick, and they had like an Auskick photo, and it said I was absent. I cried. I didn't want to be there. It was a cold day. I think I copped a falcon. My beanie fell off, and I was like, I'm never playing footy again as a 6-year-old. And that's something did Auskick as a 6-year-old once or twice. Had one bad day. Didn't do it. Queue in the rack until I was about 11 or 12. So. I mean, I've tried a lot of things, but gymnastics was something I loved.
Mate, you were good at it. You were good yesterday. You're best on. Had my 3 votes for sure.
Great. Well, I mean, I enjoyed the cartwheels.
Actually, like
and that.
It sounds like we do have a lot of fun in the gymnastics centre, and I think it's only a thing for the preseason, but it was tough.
It was hard, especially
some of the
trampoline.
We're doing, the trampoline running, the balancing. Like the trampoline running was the hardest.
It was the hardest by a mile, and I think it's because like we take for granted how nicely hard the ground is because. When it was like the trampoline, it absorbed all your momentum and you just had to keep pushing away. It's almost like trying to run through like a foam pit or trying to get out of a foam pit. It's impossible. Yeah. Like I'm actually dreading just the trampoline running. Everything else I excelled in and I was great at, and I feel like I had a bit of a head bobble like that.
Yeah. But
well,
we're all gassed in the trampoline running.
Yeah. But it was
good though to get some variety in our training. Like
it is.
No one else is doing that. So Leggy's one of Leggy's ongoing gags is every preseason session. We've been going for a little while now, but when we're in the middle of a session, you just say, boys, no one else is doing this, just 7 out of the clubs. And it's another one. I always get a laugh out of it to the point where I'm asking you now, like, is anyone else doing this? You're like,
no one else is. Yeah, I mean, it's just getting us through. I think I started in the off season, and it was something when you're running by yourself or in smaller groups, it's hard.
You got to get each other through. When we're grueling, when we're in the middle of those grueling sessions, like sometimes you need a laugh just to get your mate through.
Yeah, 100%. So
we're all hurting just as much as each other.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah.
Well, that's where I'm here for. Just making the boys laugh. So. Yeah. I feel like I've taken that role on. I feel like I should be in the leadership group as just a full-time jester.
100%.
Or I've actually thought of this as well. Like, as a job opportunity, and I think ball magnets could excel at this.
Do you reckon we could? Yeah, we could hire.
Yeah,
we got availabilities.
Yeah, well, no, I was thinking like a ball magnet's like fella who goes into a football club and just makes the boys laugh for the day. So like I'm just like an average Joe. I'll go to a club that's maybe lost 4 in a row and it's hard to laugh. Like
Get them up and about.
Yeah, and we've all been there. Like we've lost 3 in a row, 4 in a row, and things get a bit dour. Are you allowed to laugh? Are you allowed to smile? And you almost need someone from externally coming in just to like who's got no knowledge of what's going on internally and as like a bit of a jester.
Is this a pitch?
Well, I feel like because I've said it now publicly, I better get a move on and
get a job description together. I'm liking where this is going.
But yeah, like I'm thinking post-footy, this could be me.
That could be you.
Clubs are struggling. Collingwood's lost 3 in a row. We won't hear that for another until I
if
get
that happens,
delisted.
though, you're going to have something great up your sleeve. It'll be like, boys, bring your mouth guards tomorrow, and then we'll go bowling or something.
Yeah. The losers got to wear their footy boots to the coffee shop,
or wear your footy boots to bowling as well. Slide down the thing. Just on the ball magnets, for everyone that's listening, we're actually doing, and we're going to hook you up, Leggy.
Yep.
We're about to do a big launch drop, so a merch launch drop. If I've worded that right, but. The way we're going to do our merch is we're creating limited items. It's going to be very limited. You're going to get one.
Yep.
But just so that everyone's aware, follow us on socials. There'll be some cool merch coming, and also our pre-season programs. Leggy's been a part of the clinics that I've run for the Pies boys, so we're going to start really pushing our programs home. So for everyone that's interested, make sure you download the Ball Magnets app. It's still free. Get on there, mate. You need to get a subscription. We'll get you on there too.
Yep. Done.
And then we'll give you that job because I reckon that could be you.
Yeah, I reckon it is.
Yeah.
And also, like, with the programs, if you do want any good battle scars as well, I think the ball magnets are dishing them out.
We're dishing them out, yeah. Accidental or intentional, either way.
You choose.
Yeah. Actually, one more thing that I reckon you could do for ball magnets, if you do come on board, you're very good behind the mic around the footy club. You're the guy that the media team goes to, gives the mic to. There was one segment I watched you going around asking all the boys about their tattoos.
Yep.
I don't know if they asked you about your tattoos. Can you tell me a little bit about yours? Are yours, I know you're quite a spiritual guy. Are yours quite meaningful, or are some quite playful? Or because you've got a few, but give us a talk through your favourite couple and what they mean.
Yeah, I feel like my favourite ones are always like sort of on the back of my legs. Like they're just actually. I think my favourite one is going to be my right leg. So actually, no, my left leg. My left leg's my favourite one because I had so Jakey King, the push-up king.
Yeah.
He's a good mate of mine. He presented me my jumper when I was at Richmond, and he had a tattoo shop called City of Ink that's no longer there. He's currently selling caravans out in Epping. So if you need a caravan, there's a plug for your kingy. But no, I went to his tattoo shop for the first time. It was my first piece. Was my leg, and he had a. And I sort of said, look, I want to get the straight line work, a bit old school. And he goes, all right, I've got the perfect man for you. His name's Otto. And I love Otto. Otto's one of my favourite tattoo artists.
Andy
No, not Andy Otten, just Otto.
Otto,
I
okay.
never knew what his last name was because on Instagram he's like Otto Tattoo Artist or something. So unless his last name's Tattoo Artist, and he's just followed the footsteps of his last name.
Could be.
But he didn't speak much English. He was Vietnamese. And I remember sitting down with him and I said, hey, mate, I want a bear. And he writes Bare. And I go, I want a candle as well. And he goes, all right, Candel. And then like he just started, and I wrote like owl, and he just like kind of wrote like a couple of zero, like O's, and then he was like W. And I was like, oh gosh, like I'm about to trust this guy and doing me like this piece.
It's going to be with you forever.
That's with me forever, and like we can't figure out like, and I had to like double check like is a bear like the grizzly bear, like a big bear, and I go, I want him playing like an accordion, like, and I just started naming all these things, and I'm like, oh gosh, what's going to happen?
So do you have a bear playing an accordion on your leg?
Yeah, just there.
True.
Yeah, right on the shin, and I just feel like my first one was the biggest one where it just started the chain.
Yeah.
And just the smell of bepanthen, then like the pickle cream that you get just made me want to get more. I just had the itch. And it was like every time I'd days off. So this is before I did support work and things in my spare time. Days off, I used to go to the tattoo shop and I used to just sit there with Kingy. Didn't have any tattoos booked, and I'll just wait for an artist to get free and I'll just hop on. And like I just kept chipping away, kept doing just the most bizarre things. And I would spend hours there. I'd go there on my day off and sit there from 10 o'clock till 5. or
You
4.
loved it, just loved it there.
loved it. And I just sat around talking to everyone, and yeah, I just enjoy. I used to do riddles all the time there.
Yeah. I'll tell you what I found really interesting from what you told me. People that get face tattoos.
Yeah.
That you can't actually go into a tattoo parlor and get a face tattoo on the spot.
Yeah,
You have to like go, like, how does that work? You have to go and then you have to go away and think about it for like a 3-month period. And then if you still want it, you can go ahead. But there's all these rules around it.
Well, it was with City of Ink, so I think they had a lot of people ask for face tattoos.
Right.
And Jake used to always say, look, what do you want? And it's like, oh, I want this. It's like, all right, we'll write it down. We'll do everything. I've got your name and everything, your number. This is what you want to do. Come back to me in 3 months.
Yeah.
And if you still want it then, we'll do it.
Yeah.
But in 3 months' time, maybe something's kicked into your consciousness and
Yeah.
like you don't need it or you don't want it. Like,
Yeah.
sweet,
Yeah.
I won't hear from you. In 3 months, I'll just scrunch it up, throw it away.
Yeah.
Like, if you know what I mean? But come back in 3 months.
It's probably a smart way to do it.
Smart way to do
Yeah.
it. So rather than taking money and that, it was just like, no, this is on you for the rest of your life. Like,
Yeah.
let's not.
Yeah, it's a big
F
goal to
this
make,
up, yeah.
What about your premiership tattoo? Are you going to get one?
I think I am. I've got 2 tattoo guns at home. So,
Self job?
yeah, I think I might do a little
Wow.
self job.
Do you reckon you could do me?
Yeah, I'd love to. Yeah.
Nah,
With sheer needles.
I'm a clean skin. Yeah, I'm a clean skin. I don't know if I'm going to get one. Don't know.
Yeah,
But
okay.
what are you thinking?
Well, I'm actually thinking it maybe potentially getting like a little hot pie, like a pie,
Yeah.
and putting like a flag in there
Yeah.
with like 2023 in it, and then having obviously room for another. I mean, I'm signed on for another year, so
That's
at least
another one,
another
yeah.
flag in there. But if I can get another 5s out of me, that
Yeah,
hopefully will be
you
another
can need room
5
for
flag.
5. It is cool in the locker room though, like slowly seeing more boys, like little tattoos pop up.
Yeah,
Little
it's
unique ones, but
pretty cool.
just brings back all those good memories.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I think that's the best part. Like when we went away for holidays, it was great to go away and actually get out of the bubble because the week after was pretty hectic. The next 2 weeks was quite full on for us. But by the end of my Europe trip, I missed all the boys so much. I almost wanted to like relive it a bit. And
Man, isn't it
like,
being cool? I don't know if you felt this, but I was chatting to Braz and Das Cameron and a few of the boys the other day, how good it felt to be back at the club.
100%.
Like excited, but also just like the culture that's been created. Like we love being there.
Yeah.
Like it felt so good being back at the club the other day and just you're sitting in the locker room, you're talking gags about Toasty.
yeah, Toasty. Our doc.
Ruben, who's our doctor, Leggy's nicknamed him Toasty for Ruben Sandwich, Toasted Sandwich, so he's just called Toasty.
Yeah.
Just like the silly stuff, but just like,
Which I think still goes over his head, poor fella.
does he not know what it is?
I feel like
I started calling him Toasty
sometimes I
now.
go, hey, Toasty, and I feel like now he's gone, hey, Leggy, but before he used to go, yeah, I've had one this morning.
Well, as if, well, as in like an actual
Yeah,
toasted sandwich.
I was like questioning him, like, oh, Toasty?
You're on Toasty? Question mark? Oh mate, that's amazing. We better wrap it up because that's been a great chat. It's I listened to your other podcast, which I thought was amazing, and
Yeah.
the way that you're so confident in the way that you can talk about your feelings and things is such a thing that I look up to, and a lot of people do because you're so. I'm trying to think of the right wording, but I think as men, you know, you're leading the charge in terms of showing people how to be authentic and showing it's okay to be vulnerable. But then you also have this fun side, which we love as well. Like one of the best personalities of people I play with. I honestly mean that, mate. It's been unreal the last year getting to know you. And, mate, yeah, since we're hiring you at Ball Magnets, it's going to be good that, you know, we're going to spend the next decade together. So
Full-time jester. Well, if things get dour at Ball Magnets, you know who to call. I'll be in
Correct,
there
the leg
dancing
man.
around, making everyone laugh.
Call the
but-
leg man.
Yeah, the leg man. But no, I appreciate it. Thank you as well for giving me the opportunity and the platform to have a bit of a chat. And
Appreciate it, man. We finally-
obviously that podcast was a bit more deeper, and
Yeah.
it was a sports and mental health one, and
Yeah.
just having a bit of a yarn with a friend, just and seeing this other side of me, because I feel like I'm not bipolar, but I've got these. I'm almost balancing this
Different parts.
deep and meaningful side, and also this fun and playful, joyful side. So thank you for tapping into that other side.
That's Leggy.
That's Leggy that you see 90% of the time, and no, I appreciate it. It's always a chore.
Always a chore, never pleasure.
a pleasure with you, Titchy. So
Kind of like finding a haystack in a needle with you, isn't it? So.
hey, hard work. No, talent beats hard work when
can't
when
join-
talent forgets the hard work.
You can't take a water to a horse, but you can make it anyway. That's
Anyway, forget
those
about
little, what do you call them things? Little sayings. We always purposely muck them up
Muck
to
'em
people
up.
just to see if they pull us up. So, yeah, mate, it's been good to find the haystack in a needle with you. But, mate,
you.
that's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Cut.